and especially the Queens Special Victims Squad, a violent criminal has been taken off our streets. The rape of a 13-year-old girl last Thursday in Casino Park, Queens, shocked our entire city. The horrific crime was committed in broad daylight, and our investigators immediately went about finding and apprehending the person responsible. For 4 straight days, they worked around the clock. They canvassed neighborhoods, collected evidence, knocked on doors, circulated photos and video, and they never let up in their efforts to close this case. Our department reached out to the media and to the public, and our city was united in getting justice for the victim and her family. No tip went uninvestigated. Every call to 911, 311, and Crime Stoppers was critical. And just after 1 in the morning, after several days of engaging the public for their help, a call came in that a suspect was seen in the confines of the 110 precinct. Officers responded to the location, removed the individual from the station house, and after further investigation, we are confident that this person who committed this terrible crime is now in custody. Today, the next phase of the Criminal Justice Bureau begins. We will continue working closely with the Queens DA to hold this person accountable. But now, I want to thank all of our investigators who relentlessly pursued justice in this case. You are a true credit to this department, and you continue to make all of us proud with your unwavering dedication to the people we serve. I want to thank the media for spreading the word and keeping people informed about this case and about every major case we investigate. And I especially want to thank New Yorkers. There is no greater force multiplied than the eyes and ears of the engaged, fully involved public. This is exactly what we mean when we talk about public safety is a shared responsibility. And the past few days proved to the world again that the people of the city can come together and get the job done like no one else. Our Chief Detective, Joe Kenny, will now get some further details. Chief?
Thank you, Commissioner. So based on good detective work, coordination with multiple bureaus, and community assistance, we have a perpetrator in custody for this crime. His name is Christian Giovanni Inga Landi. He is a male Hispanic, 25 years old, with a date of birth of 1/14/99. His last known address was 57-31 108th Street in Queens. He is of Ecuadorian descent. He has no prior arrest history in New York City. However, he does have 1 arrest out of state in Texas. Since his time in New York City, he's been involved with the police department only 3 times, involving 3 summonses and 1 domestic violence incident in the 107 precinct that did not require an arrest. The steps taken to identify this perpetrator were the forensic interviews that were done of both victims. These victims gave crucial information that was needed to assist to make this arrest. Evidence collection and process. We still have forensics that are currently being analyzed and processed at the lab. The sketch artist gave us that image to work off of, and I'll tell you right now, that sketch was dead on. The video canvas that led to a person of interest. This was video that was provided by the community. Right, the picture and video were blasted out yesterday through DCPI to all media outlets and all of our social media platforms. We got numerous tips from Queens residents. The tips came in via social media. They gave us the perpetrator's name, his Facebook account, which gave us pictures of him wearing the clothing he was wearing the same day that he committed the crime, as well as pictures of him with that distinguishable tattoo on his chest and matching clothing. So as the Commissioner said last night, at 1:07 in the morning, we had 911 calls from the community, once again, directing the police to 108th Street and Walden Street for a perpetrator that fitted the description from past crime. Here, we found that the community was holding our perp. At the time, the community was trying to hold the perpetrator, waiting for the police. He fought with them, and the community still managed to hold on to him until we got there. The perpetrator was treated and released for minor injuries at Elmhurst Hospital. He was taken back to the 112 precinct, where he's being processed by the Special Victims Unit. The perpetrator has made statements after waiving Miranda rights, where he indicated that he has a drug problem, that he found the knife that he used to threaten the two teens, that this was the first time he had ever done anything like this. He IDs himself in video that was shown to him. Currently, we are working with Melinda Katz in the Queens District Attorney's Office, but the charges are going to be as follows. For our female victim, rape, sex abuse, robbery in the first degree, menacing, unlawful imprisonment, kidnapping, endangering the welfare of a child, and possession of a weapon. For the male victim, robbery in the first degree, menacing, criminal possession of a weapon, unlawful imprisonment, kidnapping, endangering the welfare of a child. I'd like to thank Chris Lapolis and all of Special Victims for their efforts in bringing this case to a successful conclusion. Thank you. They're local residents from right on that block there. Like I said, we, through social media, through the help with you guys, that picture was out there. That sketch was plastered everywhere. Everybody knew who we were looking for. Like I said, we had tips coming in actually naming the perpetrator. So they knew who he was. When they saw him out on the street, they tried to detain him. They called 911. He began to fight back as the community was trying to retain him, and he suffered some minor injuries while the community was holding him. We're hearing, we don't have confirmation of that. We're hearing that possibly they may have used a belt to try and hold his feet together to keep him from running away.
Chief, can you tell us a little bit more about where this man's been living and what sort of living arrangements he has?
He's been bouncing around a little bit. We know that he entered the country from Ecuador through Texas, through Eagle Pass, Texas, back in June 25th of 2021. One of the tips we actually received was from a landlord who stated that the male had come to his building about 2 weeks previous trying to rent a room.
Chief, how many people, if you know the number, were involved in his apprehension?
We're still pulling video to ascertain that. When patrol, just from body-worn camera, I saw there was at least 10 neighborhood people trying to do the right thing.
Chief, when he came to this country, what happened at the border? Was he with a family member? And as far as DNA, has anything been linked yet to the DNA?
So the DNA is still being processed. When he did come into the country, the federal government did take fingerprints and DNA from him at the border. So that's still being worked on. We actually still processing our evidence. We're going to try and match that up. As far as when he crossed into the border, he was with a 3-year-old child.
Is that his son?
Don't know.
Jessica, CBS?
Sir, can you confirm multiple reports that we've heard that the suspect used his own bandanas to stuff inside the victims' mouths to prevent them from screaming for help inside the park?
There was one red bandana that was recovered from the scene, and that's being processed at the lab still.
Rebecca Greenberg, New York One.
Will any of the people who helped apprehend this suspect receive an award, a $10,000 award?
As of right now, they can come forward for that. We're still working on identifying them. They said it was a chaotic scene there last night, so we're still working through that.
Just one more question. In terms of, Hi, Christine Fontaine from CBS. Is there anything we can confirm? People, there are reports saying that he is a migrant. Is that the right terminology to use to describe him? And also, is there anything you can say about the victims and if there's any other condition?
So his arrival through the country is consistent through a path a migrant would take. He comes through Eagle Pass, Texas, where he's detained and placed under arrest for entering the country illegally. He's then detained, and while he's waiting for processing, he's let go. He does indicate to us that he knew his time in this country was coming to an end and that he was going to have to leave soon after. But he did come through to the United States from Ecuador through Texas, which is consistent with the way a migrant might travel. Not at this time.
All right, we got time for one or two more. Ricardo Villerini, Telemundo.
Sir, is it fair to say that the 3-year-old is no longer with him? Do you know the whereabouts?
We believe that he currently has 2 children at this time, one of them being 6 years old, so that the time frame would go that he arrived here 3 years ago with a 3-year-old. He does have a 6-year-old.
All right, final question. Tony Stefano.
Chief, when he crossed the border, he was just an illegal border crosser at this stage. It wasn't an asylum seeker.
Based on the charges that he received in Texas, that is what we see quite common. That is a charge given when you enter the country illegally. They are processed, they are fingerprinted, they are photographed, their DNA is taken, and then while they're waiting for their court hearing, they are released. So that's consistent, once again, with the migrant crossing.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for your time.